I'm Mike Torres, and it's my pleasure to be here as we are giving you a peek into the latest improvements our Wave Analytics team has to offer. Now, joining me in studio are 3 members of our product management team, and you'll get to meet them in just a second. But before we do that, we're going to be looking at some very new products and some forward-looking items on our product roadmap. So to properly set our expectations there, we need to review Salesforce's Safe Harbor slide. Now, if you haven't seen this slide before, all it means is that any purchasing decisions you make around Salesforce should be based on what's currently available and not on roadmap items. Without any further ado, I'd actually like to pass you to one of our product management team members, Francois, who's going to introduce himself and let his team introduce themselves, and then get right into the presentations. Francois?
Thank you, Mike. So my name is Francois Lepiteau. I'm product manager at Salesforce. I'm working on Wave since 2 years before I was on Service Cloud. And today I'm going to speak about Sales Wave, our first application that we are going to release, and also how we embed Wave in your business processes.
Excellent.
Hi, I'm Dylan Tom, also a product manager on Wave. Most recently working with Francois and his team on apps, Service Wave app, which is coming up. But prior to that, working on dashboards and the actions that I'm going to be showing you a little later, and also going to walk through some enhancements to SQL queries.
Excellent.
My name is Ed Mengel. I'm also a product manager on the Wave team, I've been a product manager on the mobile side. I'm going to show you some stuff with mobile and particularly iPad. And also I've been working recently with the dashboard and data exploration teams.
So before to start in the features that we want to show you, just a slide to recap a little bit what is Wave.
Yeah.
So as you know, we launched Wave last year at Dreamforce, Wave as a platform. So we wanted to build an analytics product for everyone. So anybody in the company will need to have insight, because everybody who is taking decisions should have insight to take the right decisions. Yeah. We wanted to make mobile, because of course, you are on the field, you are in meetings, you need to be able to have insight wherever you are. And also we build as a platform. So platform means that you can bring any type of information, Salesforce information, but also information coming from outside of Salesforce, like your ERP system, like your web traffic. So any type that you can think about that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And so because it's a platform also, we wanted to build application on top of that, which is what I'm going to speak about right now. And of course, since we have Salesforce, we have decided to work on the application that makes much more sense for us, which is what we call the Sales Wave. So Sales Wave is really a great achievement from us for the Winter 16 release. It's an application that we want to deliver to every salespeople that they can take better decisions. Mm-hmm. So it's basically a prepackaged best practice, KPI, metrics that you can deploy very easily in any type of organizations. And it's really like to drive our customers to help them to achieve more and better and faster. It's also not only analyzing KPI, but we also analyze more information, like, for example, activities, to have some understanding of the behavior of the people in the organizations. Mm-hmm. We also have like a risk indicator, like, for example, with pipeline trending. So you can really understand like what is in, what move out, really understanding of the flow and where the things are going. And because it's inside Salesforce and you have dashboard from Wave, you also need to take action on it. So when you find insight in this type of dashboard, you want maybe to move an opportunity that you find to the current period, make your quarter. Or you may want to create a task like an event or a custom action. So it's really also linked to this whole action framework that Dylan is going to speak about.
Excellent.
So now if we think about Sales Wave more in details, so if tomorrow you buy Sales Wave in your organization, what's going to happen? So you are going first to go through the wizard. So the wizard is really important because all our customers are customizing their organizations. Mm-hmm. So they are creating custom field, for example, to categorize their customers or to track the amount opportunity. So with this wizard, they will be able to select which field we want to use in this application, that once the application is deployed, this application really makes sense for the organizations. Of course, also we deliver like a lot of dashboard, but this dashboard, you can still modify them. So you have them created in New York, but you can modify them, you can change some filter or add more filter, or even create your own dashboard. So it's really like a starting point that we are providing with Sales Wave. And also it's with a predefined data flow that's, it's analyzing all your Salesforce data. And again, if you want to edit afterward the data flow, you can also do. So it's not like a fixed and in a rock, but it's really something that you can customize afterwards.
Okay.
So with the winter, we deliver the first version of SalesWave, and every new month we are going to deliver more information, more dashboard, more innovations to our customers. So it's really not like one shot off, but it's really something that we are going to improve over time.
Okay.
So I think the best now is to show like what looks like the product, right?
Yeah. Let's hop into a demo.
So let's switch to a demo. So here is my Salesforce organization. I'm in Wave Analytics, and here you can see all my different applications that I have. So first thing I want to show you is how I'm going to create SalesWave. Mm-hmm. So here I'm going to create an app. I can either create a blank app or Sales Analytics application. And if I click here, now I have the wizard I was speaking about, where you can decide to pick which field you want to use. Maybe if you create custom field, like for example, how you want to view your customer data. Maybe you want to be able to filter using account type, or maybe you have created a custom field for that. So you can pick your custom field, because here we are querying directly your Salesforce schema. And it's like that with all the other questions. But we have also other questions differently from where you store your information in Salesforce. But like, for example, do you want to, are you using task and event, or do you want to upload your quota in SalesWave? Because in SalesWave, you can also upload your quota by person, which is really interesting, right? Which really makes sense. So it's not just about your Salesforce schema, but other information about really your business processes. Yeah. And once you answer all these questions, you just give the name for the app. So new SalesWave. And I'm just going to click create. And here we are going to kick off all the creation process. Creation of the dashboard, creation of the data flow. And so in like matter of minutes, everything is going to be created in org. The dashboard, but also the data flow and all the information. So I don't want to wait for that, so I'm going to switch to one that I already create. So once the process is done, this is what you are going to see. A set of dashboard again, and the most important one that we have is overview. Overview is really like a landing page for you, when you can see then the different parts that we have in the first version of SalesWave. Okay. Forecast review, pipe review, coach your team, and understand your closed business. Yeah. You can see also like, latest information, like what you closed recently or what was added to the pipe. And behind all these styles, you have like further dashboard and further analysis. So if I go, for example, on review forecasts, I can see where I am in my current period. So what did I want, what I expect to close, what in my forecast, how is this forecast compared to my quota? So I am good, I am not good. Should I move deals, to the current period, or should I increase the size of the deals that I have? And you can do everything from the dashboard that you have here. So again, behind it's Wave, which means everything is faceted. I can filter on everything. I can really drill down. And a good example of that is another dashboard that we have created, which is, for example, Review Pipe. So Review Pipe is really to have a drill down on all the open pipes that you have. And here again, all the information is right at your mouse fingers. You can, for example, switch by stage. If I want to understand, for example, all the deals that are really close to be won, I can select here Negotiation Review. Everything is faceted, it's feeling refresh. So here I have a big deal in EMEA. I may want to plan a deal in EMEA to be sure I'm going to close this one. Yes. I like EMEA, by the way. And again, also the beauty of the Wave is you have the high-level overview, but you can go and drill down to the detail. So here I have the high-level overview, but I can see my deals here, my row on my dashboard. So I can really understand which deal exactly is behind the bar, which is really interesting. And another dashboard that is really we are really excited about is the pipe training dashboard. So yeah, exactly. Yes. It's something that everybody wants to have, everybody's looking to have, and so this is part of SalesWave, really to have an understanding of what moved since last time you check, right? What the deal has been increased in size or decreased in size, or moved to the next quarter, and everything again is right away from SalesWave. And again, you can drill down, you can really have the detail on every step or where you are. Move out, you may want to know why these deals was scheduled first inside the period and move out to the next period. Yeah. We have also leaderboard, and sales guys are really competitive, so they really like to see like who is the best guy in the team. So here we are. Again, all in SalesWave, and after finally review business, where you can really understand what business you close, why did you close it, what is your base region, your best industries, your best accounts, And so you have kind of like a landing page here. And on each of them, you can have further analyses, again, with other dashboards. So here, for example, if I want to have better understanding of geography, I can just click Analyze Geo. And here I can access everything right in my fingertip. So it's very rich, a lot of feature, again, out of the box. You don't need to create stuff. You don't need to think about which KPI I should put.
Yes.
We do it for you, and it's going to improve over time also.
And all these dashboards you're showing are incredibly accessible just from the first dashboard you showed me, right?
Correct, exactly. So really the first dashboard is really like a landing page that you can after browse in all the direction that you want based on what you are trying to achieve. If you do your weekly meeting on Monday, you want to review POP, you will use this one. Or if you want to sit with your teams or one specific person, you may have the leaderboard dashboard. And it's kind of like the way of we think when we created them. So SalesWave, again, so it's going to be GA with Winter 16. We are going to build more applications. Next one in the pipe is service, so application for customer service. And of course, also we are going to allow our partners to create the same application, so really exciting. Again, it's going to be next year.
Okay.
With the same template and the same capabilities. So another topic that is really important for us is once we deliver all this rich dashboard, we want to bring the information when you need the information, right? So that's why we also work really closely to bring and to break the silo. It's not like you have your analytics tools here and your business application here.
It better not be.
Exactly. Because as a sales guy or a customer service guy, you are working here, you are working your business application, it's where you need the insight. So that's why we are doing a big push to bring everything inside where people are.
Excellent.
So that's why we have this a very interesting integration point. So first with Aloha, where you can have a Wave dashboard into your detail page. Inside Aloha, you can also have, and this is an open pilot in Lightning, the critical new application that we deliver at Dreamforce. So this is an open pilot. I'm going to show it just after.
Okay.
And also because, people love to go over that. Yes. They love to develop. They love to do super creative. So that's why we also have a Salesforce component that anybody can use and embed everywhere in our applications.
Everywhere?
Everywhere.
Excellent.
In Salesforce. So let me show you a demonstration of that too.
Yeah, sure. Let's demo again.
So here an example here. I'm on my sales applications, and what you can see here is a sales dashboard. So a service wave actually here for this example that we have embedded in the home page. So again, as a leader or a manager, I don't need to go somewhere else. I can see on my landing page all the indicators that I need.
Excellent.
And so for this, we are using the Salesforce component. And you may think, oh wow, that looks very complex maybe to create. And I stop you there. It's not complex. Here is the code if I want to do exactly the same. So it's just using the Salesforce component. You can see that the Wave dashboard is the name of the component. You create your Salesforce page. I put this as a home page component, and it's how I get this result. And what is really great also is with this Salesforce component, you can do navigation. So if I'm really interested in one specific report here or dashboard, I can click here, and it's going to open a sub-tab. And again, it's just a parameter of the Salesforce component. So that's a first way of doing integration. Another example of Salesforce component is in the console for our customer service. So this is the Service Cloud console where you can manage all your cases. And here now as an agent, I can get right here insight on the case I'm working on from Wave. So either again from the Salesforce data or data coming outside of Salesforce. So it can be really useful to provide this really on the people who need the most time information like agents, as you know.
Absolutely.
Pretty tough job. Two other things I want to show you about that, which is also really nice, is as I spoke about the page detail. So here I'm on the account. And again, what would be great to have embedded information about this account, right?
Absolutely.
Coming from Wave. So again, I just go to edit the layout. And simply, I'm going to select the Wave component. So here you can see like Wave Analytics asset.
Okay.
You can select, so I want my specific dashboard, which looks really great, is account overview. And I'm just going to drag and drop this up on my detail page. I can open the properties panel, change the size or stuff like that. Another thing which is really interesting here is you want to filter this dashboard on the account where you are,
yes,
right? And you don't want to create a dashboard per account.
Exactly.
So that's why you can also pass parameters directly to the dashboard to know, to pre-filter the dashboard there. So here's an example of how you can do it, but you can, be more creative and do other, of course, not just filtering by ID, but by filtering by much more information.
Yeah.
So now that I did that, you can see that, on my account page now here, I have this beautiful Wave dashboard embedded, and all the information are just about this account specifically.
And customers can do this over?
Yeah, this is a platform features. They can do it with, sales data. They can bring external data in this dashboard and show it again in the account view. They can.
And they're not going to have to create a dashboard for each account?
No.
You just save them so much time.
Yes. And so the last one, of course, we have to speak about Lightning, right?
Yes.
So Lightning, we have the same. We have the account page, and that would be great if we can do the same in the account page, right? Yeah. So I will show I love the app builder, to be honest. I don't know if you saw it, the app builder. It's a pretty cool features. So if I go again on an account page, this is my account page on Lightning. I'm just going to edit the page and switch to the app builder, which is also an open pilot right now. So this feature is open pilot, just to be clear. And now I have my Wave dashboard component, Lightning component. So I just drag and drop. Oops, I change the height. I can put the filter also, of course, here, but let's just save for the demo. Up. And now I go back to my page. And so in this account page now again, in Lightning, you will have these, you will see the dashboard embedded in your page in Lightning. If you want to have more information, you can go to help.salesforce.com and search for Incorporate Wave Analytics, and you will see all the documentation about these features.
Excellent.
And just before to finish, I want to show you a last things, which really came up from a lot of our customers. They said this product was so amazing that they don't want to restrict it only to Salesforce users, but they want to expose it also to their community users. So that's why we came up with a pilot again in winter, where we want to expose Wave dashboard to community customers and community partner users. So it's really coming from the field and really people asking for it. Mm-hmm. And again, I'm just going to show you a quick demo of that. So I'm going to go back to the Classic, Salesforce Classic. And I'm going to switch to my partner community here. And so in my partner community, now I can see, of course, the usual tab, Another tab that I just create here is Wave Analytics. So now if I click on Wave Analytics, my partner, I can provide to my partner the same capabilities on Wave Dashboard. And of course, it's secure because we are filtering all the information in Wave Dashboard that we don't share, information that you don't want to share. So we are using the partner security model and customer security model to just show right information to them.
Excellent.
So it's pilot for winter, and obviously will be GA over the next year.
But in order to get access to the sales wave,
right?
Do you need to have the full analytics platform?
That's a very good question. So actually, we are going to release another license where you will be able to buy only Sales Wave.
Okay.
So if you have if you just want to analyze Salesforce data for sales, you will just buy this specific license.
Excellent. There will be a product specifically for the Sales Wave.
Exactly. And if you want to bring external data, then you will have to switch and buy the platform.
Okay. That sounds good. Now, a lot of the things that you were showing, seem great for very straightforward uses. If I have a very customized environment and I am relying, if I've done away with a lot of the standard objects and I am working mostly with custom objects in my environment, how does that play with what we're talking about? So
today with Sales Wave, it's not going to play really well.
Okay.
So I don't advise that you will, buy Sales Wave if you are in this type of configuration, because we are today relying on accounts, opportunities, and products. Okay. So we support custom fields, which is great. We also, after we have instantiated Sales Wave, you can modify the data flow. But really, if all your organization using custom objects, I don't think that is going to be beneficial for you to use it.
Okay, but we currently support custom fields,
Right.
custom objects, not quite now.
Yes, exactly.
All right, excellent. And then you were talking about the embedded components, which I think seem incredibly useful. But if I'm an administrator and I'm embedding one of these analytics components, do my end users need to have the same analytics license types in order to see those components?
Yeah, so everybody who is going to see a dashboard either through the Wave Analytics UI or through the embedded UI, you need to have a Wave license.
So, to discuss how our actions are changing along with everything else, we have Dylan Tom. Hey,
Hi.
Dylan.
So yeah, I'm going to go through the embedding of actions within Wave, and also after that, more of a developer discussion, but go through some of the SQL queries and the math functions that we've been adding to that.
Excellent.
But so first, as Francois mentioned, Wave was launched last year. It really allows the business end user to slice and dice their data, explore data from any sources, and gain insight. But then what's the next step? And as you mentioned, you want to take action on it. And so that's what we've done for the winter release. But what does that specifically mean, take action? So I'm going to go through that next. On the slide here, you can see we've allowed within Wave, when you're looking at a record and you've narrowed down to something that's interesting to you, and you say, okay, now I want to take action on that specific record, we've enabled these contextual menus. And what can you have on those menus? So there's three things. The first one is links, internal links. So I'm looking at a record in Wave, but I want to go into Salesforce and take a look at it. It could be an opportunity, a case, or something like that. And then the second one is going to be external links. And here we're looking at, say this data set is not Salesforce, but it's Workday or something like that. And I want to link out to an expense report, a specific expense report that I've narrowed down as problematic. I can go straight there as well. And then the third thing is actions. So we've got links, internal, external, and actions. And the actions part is using Salesforce quick actions. That some people might be familiar with already, because you can embed those in the page layouts that actually Francois kind of showed earlier, where we're embedding Wave. You can, and I'll go through that as well. But those same very actions, now we can surface up within Wave. So when you're in context and you're doing your exploration, you now have access to those as well without having to step out of that mind frame too. So, I just need to I need to set an event for that agent or something like that. You can do it straight from Wave.
Excellent.
So, but the best way to do that is really demo it. So why don't we go through and jump into a demo?
Yeah, let's.
Okay. All right. So I have a what I'm going to do is just start from a data set, start from scratch. And so I need to go in and
just to be sure, we're hopping into the demo right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. So for those familiar with Wave, I'm on the landing page here, and I'm going to actually just jump straight into a data set. And this data set is this is all the cases for this org. And so that's the total amount of cases. But I really want to look at some specific cases. And so the ones that I'm interested in are the ones that haven't met our SLA. So I can see here SLA is false, our service level agreements for these. And then what I want to say is also which are the ones that have been escalated. So these are really some problematic cases. But when I look at those ones that have been escalated, I want to see it by, say, for example, the agent, and say, well, who's got these problems? Who's dealing with these cases? And as you can see here, I've quickly been able to drill in and find out, okay, so Jimmy's clearly got some problems going on here. So what I want to do then is from here, I want to actually just go straight to that record in Salesforce, and from here I can chatter or I can take action from as well. But you can see the integration with Wave and Salesforce.
Excellent.
So then that's linking internally. And then we have, as I mentioned, we can now also link to external sites. And so for that, I've thrown together a fictitious dashboard. Okay. And this dashboard is using, actually, well, let me step back. One of the great things working for Salesforce is that they provide employees with a lot of benefits and perks. And so this one here is these coupons or discounts that are offered to employees. And so I've got a dashboard and say, perhaps I'm the program manager for these coupons. Yeah. And the great thing about a dashboard is that it allows me to, it's interactive. So I'm only interested in national perks, and I'm also interested in ones that have a redemption value of, say, 2,200. And then, but also they're just interested in things to do as a category. And now I've been able to drill down, and also Francois kind of showed this as well, but you can get the grain level data as well. So I'm clearly seeing, whoa, California Academy of Sciences, this one's a top, this one's got the most redemptions. And I actually want to figure out, well, what's making this so popular? I can go to that record and see, here we go, there I've jumped off into a third-party site and looked at those redemptions. So that's internal linking, external linking, and you can also use this external if you wanted to go to, say, a different Salesforce org or something like that. If you're in one org and you've got a data set from a different org, you can link out to that.
Excellent.
So, and then the third thing that we're looking at was the actions integration. And if I go back to my lens where I was slicing and dicing the case data, and I've grouped this by agent, but now say I want to actually see, for these problematic cases, which are the customers that are associated with these. And so here I have, I've quickly switched over the grouping to account, and say I want to take an action now, and this specific dimension has got actions enabled for it. And you can see here, I can take a new task or a new event. So these are all create type actions, but I can also have update actions, log a call, all of these directly from Wave. And I can even invoke a Visualforce page. This one probably not too, I just thought it was a fun one to add, and you can actually see where we are right now. So you can invoke a Visualforce page and then pass the parameters of this specific account to that.
Excellent.
So that's kind of showing you our linking and our actions, how they're embedded in here. The nice thing, though, with both of those is that it doesn't matter what visualization you're looking at. It doesn't just need to be a bar chart. We can switch over, and you can say, well, how's that possible in a donut? We don't have those labels. But we do in the legend, so we've enabled them on the side there. And then the other thing is, if obviously if they're in charts, it's easier, they're going to be in tables too. So we have them invocable within the tables. And I'm in the Explorer here, well, what we call Explorer, but it's the lenses. And but the same, what we're showing is that these actions are available on the data set. So whether you're exploring it or you have it in a dashboard, let me go and see where it landed up here. This is my dashboard builder. But these same actions are now available in the dashboard too.
Wow.
So no matter whether you're whatever visualization or whatever mode your dashboards or lenses, you'll be able to access those. So that's what the business end user is going to see, or how they're going to work. The next question is obviously, how do you actually set these up? So I want to quickly go through that and. So this is what I've got here as an example is I have actions set up on the account. I can then, let me go to that actual record. And for those familiar with an object like account, or actually with any objects, you can set up actions on here. And this one has new contact, new opportunity. For those observant, they would have noticed that these exact same actions are the ones available within Wave. So whatever you have associated via the page, the publisher, as the quick actions for this page for the specific user role will now be available. We're querying the same API and getting those actions and that's how they're available. So first you got to make sure they're set up within Salesforce. So that's the one step, but most people already have those anyway. And then the second step is then to actually get them to show up in Wave. This is where what you really need to do now is, as I mentioned, it's on the data set level. So you would open and edit the data set. And then we have a file that's associated with the data set, which is called extended metadata. And it's a JSON file. You would download that. And then what that actually looks like looks something like this. And so we have another section in there which you just need to add, say, depending on which field you want this to show up on, you say that's the field you want, account, which is where it was, and then the ID. We need the ID because we want to obviously link you to that account, and that's what we use for the linking and also to query and make sure we get the right actions specific for that object.
Absolutely.
So that's how you go set it up. You would download that file, update and re-upload the file again, and then it's going to be available for whenever someone looks at that data set. So with that, I have a slide just to show just on a couple more details for the setup, which we can take a look at, and I'll switch over to that. So the best way for the links and for the actions is really just, as I showed, you need to update that extended metadata file. And we've got help and training documentation. Just do a search in there for analytics actions. It'll pop up and tell you step by step how to go and do it. There is, for people who haven't actually got actions enabled on their objects currently within Salesforce, we've also just do a search for quick actions, and those will show up, and then you'll get all the help to walk you through setting that up. So that's on the action side. What I'm going to do right now is really switch gears here for the developers and analysts out there. Listen up, this is going to be really interesting. What we're going to go through is some of the new SQL query functions that have been added. There's two sets. There's some math functions that we've put in and case functions. Those are all going to be available for Winter 16. But I think the best way, instead of going through slides of these, is probably just go into a demo. So I've got some cool dashboards that I can show which have these functions in them. So let's switch over to the demo then. All right. So as I mentioned, first set was going to be the math functions. And here we're dealing with what we've added is. I'll quickly go through. We've got absolute value, ceiling function, floor, truncation, and round. So in this demo, there's a table here, and it's showing, for example, this is the values we're taking, and then this is the output of those, depending on which math function you've applied. Okay. So to go through each one of those, the absolute value, what we're doing here is returning the absolute value of that number. And so if UFC Gym will look at that one that has a 0, so a negative, so that'll turn the non-negative value because that'll be the absolute value for that. Then we have ceiling and floor function, and what this does is it'll take this number and return the nearest integer so for a ceiling, it'll be equal or greater value, and floor equal or lesser. So obviously here we've got 1 is being returned, and for here we've got 0. Okay. Then we've also got truncation. Here it just allows you to take a price or something like that, and then you can project the truncated value by setting how many decimal places you want to truncate to. There's also more use cases in here, with negative and those kind of things. So these are just added to the query like this within each. So when you're projecting your values, you would add these math functions. And then the final one here for this round, at least, is the round function. And here it's similar to the truncation, except it's rounding. You set the amount of decimal places you want it to round to, but and then so those are the first batch that's coming through for winter. If you want to learn more about those on the developer.salesforce.com, you can just search for SACWell, and there'll be some, because there's a lot more use cases and what's invalid and valid, so they're walking through all of that, which is very helpful. And then what's coming up next for math functions will be log, square root, natural log, and exponential.
Excellent.
But those are the SACWell math functions. What I'm particularly excited about is what's also coming up in winter is the case function. And this is really powerful because what it allows us to do is visualizations like Francois showed with the pipeline trending, the waterfall chart. Without it, we couldn't do those. So this is really powerful. But I'm actually going to make it pretty simplistic here with this example just to show everyone what it's all about. So the first thing with this case function, it's really a construct for conditional statements. Say, for example, I have the perk data and I've got the redemptions of those. And in my data set, I can project the program and the redemptions. But I actually want to say, I want to categorize these redemptions by the value, saying that if it's less than 1,000, give me category 1. If it's between 1,000 and 2,000, I'll take category 2 as that. And then if it's anything else, category 3. So that categorization in that field is not in the data set, but I can use this query in this case function to project that on the fly within a dashboard. So to do that, you can see I've got the actual example of the query here. I'm loading the data set, and then I am saying which I'm projecting program and redemptions, and then here's the case statement, and it starts with a case and ends with end. Logical. And then we've got the when, and so what follows the when is our search criteria. So you can have any search that we support in SACWell. So here it's redemptions that are less than 1,000, and then we have the then, which is the results expression. And so here I want it to be a category 1. So and you can follow on that when they're between 1,000 and 2,000, we've got category 2, and then we have the else as well for everything else. So that here's just also what the syntax looks like. There's the general, and then there's the simple expression. The simple is if you want to take the redemptions, which is the field, and just put that up above with the case, and then every search criteria is based on that field, then you could use the simple expression. So that's kind of as I mentioned, a very simplistic example, but hopefully it gives people an idea of the power behind what you can do now with this case. And to learn more, again, similar to the math functions, we can go to developer.salesforce.com and then search for SACWell and get more information.
And I love that dashboard you built there, that you've got the documentation right next to an actual use of it. That should make learning it so much easier.
Most of my questions are actually revolve around the actions that you're showing off because I think they're incredibly powerful. But I'm thinking through an administrator's lens right now. Can I control which users have which actions available to them, or action is just going to be universally available to all users?
Definitely. And so that's actually set up within the Salesforce. When you're creating the actions, you can associate them with an object, and then that object's page layouts. Each one of those, you could say, I want this user to see these 5 actions or something like that for the account or object. And what we do is when we open up in Wave, we know your user and who you are, what user profile you are, and then the record type, and we query and make sure we're providing you exactly the right actions that has been set up by the administrator.
Okay.
So we'll adhere to all of that.
Excellent. So along the same vein, if if inside my internal Salesforce instance, if I have say 50 actions associated with an account or something like that, just a long list, and I wanted to bring those actions into Wave, can I choose which actions I bring over, or do I have to bring over everything that I've created so far?
Yes, and that actually happens on the Wave side then, because you've put a whole bunch of actions that you probably want people to use, but on Wave maybe you just want a subset, you just want 2 things or something like that that are pretty focused. So yes, as part of that extended metadata file, you can specify for that field I only want to show these, say, 2 actions, and it will, if those get returned, those 2 will be popped up.
Awesome.
So.
And just as a final thing, I am hearing about how incredibly useful these actions are, and my mind starts racing about, what if we can sort of template and reuse these actions? Is there any way for us to use bulk actions or anything like that?
Yeah, so, bulk actions, yes, you're not the only one asking about those. So that's definitely something that's on the roadmap. We want to, because you want to select a whole bunch of records and bulk update those or something like that. And so that's definitely a direction we want to go. We have a couple of things we have to do before that.
Okay.
We're going to be launching chatter actions like post and all of those on individual records, and then we've got 1 or 2 other internal pieces we have to make sure we're working on Wave before we can get the bulk actions out.
All this is built around the idea of continuing momentum and keeping our agents working when they need to be. But all that can be for naught if we're not getting it to them at the right time. Sometimes the right time is when they're mobile and not in front of a computer. So to talk around Salesforce's latest solutions in that area, we're going to pass things to Ed.
Thanks, Mike. I am kind of the target user of the mobile platform. I hate lugging my laptop around, so I always want this information accessible on the go. And I just love my job because I get to play with the latest and greatest devices and running this cool app on it. But what I want to talk about today is we just announced our 2.0 release, and we launched that at Dreamforce. So let's go over some of the things that we included in that release. And here on the slide is a list of things that we included. I'm going to show you a demo, a lot of these, but what I want to focus now is the MDM support. We've got a lot of security conscious customers. They needed MDM, they needed certificate-based authentication. It doesn't make a very compelling demo, but yes, know that you can log in with MDM using any certificate-based method. So let's kick over the demo. I'm going to go onto my laptop here. And what I have here is the 2.0 version of the Wave Analytics app. And I'm going to show you some of the features. Now, this is our first release readiness. So there's some things that people may not even know about. And so let's start going into the settings. And some new things, this developer mode. So this developer mode is a very powerful tool. So in 2.0, what we announced is our auto layout converter. We take layouts, even if they were made on desktop, and we convert them to the device that you're currently on. So we basically try and wrap widgets, line everything up so that it still looks very pretty, regardless of your device size.
Yeah.
Now, so we did that, but you can make a guess, right? People always might want to customize. They might want to make it more beautiful. They might want to spread things out onto multiple pages. They may even want to just hide something because you don't need access to every single piece of information on the go. So we have the ability to go in and customize at either a per device level or just across classes of devices. And when you do that, you want to be able to debug it and make sure it works. So we added this developer mode switch.
Sorry, Ed, I think you've got so many devices here. I feel like you're showing everyone your iPad, but not your phone. I mean, on your
Oh yes,
your
we definitely
laptop.
want to show the laptop here so that everybody can see. See, I've got this phone simulator running on my laptop. And hopefully you can see this developer mode right here on my simulator on the laptop. And what I'm going to do is go over to a dashboard. I open up this dashboard and we get this little square here. The square pops up in the bottom and I can tap on that square. And then what I see here are, I have little options here. So I can just kind of see how at a per pixel level the system is laying everything out, where it's putting specific things. So this can really just help you if you really need to fine-grain control over your layouts, you have that. So let's go to a completely different option right now here. I'm going to go back to settings, and I'm actually going to turn developer mode off. And you see I have this presentation mode.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people use data to tell a story. And you've heard about running your business from your phone. I like to run my meetings from my phone. And so you want to be able to drive that meeting right from the phone, but you don't want people to focus on the app and what you're doing. You want them to focus on the data.
Exactly.
So what I do is I turn on presentation mode here, And I'm going to go back to the home, and I'm also going to show you what this would look like on an external display. So now let's say I have AirPlay, or I've connected via cable, and I have this TV here, and I'm going to open up this dashboard. And what you'll notice is the layout of each one is different. The layout on the TV fits the TV. The layout on the phone fits the phone. So I can use this phone as a remote control. I don't know how many times I've spent up late last at night. I'm copying and pasting screenshots into a PowerPoint deck. I'm getting ready for my meeting. Now I don't have to do this. I've got a live view of my data. It's on my phone. I just connect to the device, and I can actually run a business review. I could ask you, how is Midwest doing? And then ask, how is Northeast doing? And just start running my meeting that way instead of creating all of these PowerPoint decks.
Wow.
So really excited about the presentation mode. We actually announced that at the first Dreamforce at launch. We've just been adding more and more features to it, and we now even have a way. This will actually use the iPad layout, but you could even make a specific layout for the TV if you wanted to do something different. Maybe you wanted to stand up a TV and use it as a display, right? So that anybody walking by can see how your business is doing just as they walk down the hall. So let's cut over right now to my iPad, and I'm going to fire this up here. And I want to show you some of the innovations that we're making on the iPad. We have a completely new home screen. Everything has been completely redone to take advantage of the wonderful real estate that we have. I can slide all of these independently. We've broken out the recent section into its own section here. And what I can do also is I can hit this eye, the little eye button here, and it brings up this metadata view. Oh. The metadata view gives you more information about the asset. So in this case, I can see who created it, who modified it, maybe if I need to play the blame game if something goes wrong, when was this data refreshed, and I can even tap on that and get more information about the data. Or now you see I've got the app, I can tap on the app and see more information about the app. So I can just learn about all of these settings and who things are shared with. So now I also have this great feature of being able to favorite. As soon as I favorite, this pops right up at the top, and now I've got a one-click access to this dashboard. So let's actually open up this dashboard. And you see a beautiful iPad layout, and I can actually just double tap on a widget. So when I double tap, this is our drill in, right? You've got this ad hoc question. You weren't able to answer it with the dashboard. You couldn't predict it. I can go in here, and now I've got the full power of Explore. And you notice Explore uses the full screen. This supports landscape and portrait. And you could use things like our advanced filters feature. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a filter. And let's pick something like account name. And let's say I want it to include a word, and let's use a word like contractor. I know that contractor is in the name. So I start typing contractor right here. Whoops, and I think I just tapped on the wrong section here. So I start typing contractor, and this view will start filtering on the contractor data set. And I can start seeing, and this screen isn't going, and I can start seeing what contractors are available, and then what I could do is actually do a contains filter. If it's too much, I can just filter by things containing the word contractor. Gotcha. So let's actually go also to amount. Now amount, right, this is a measure filter. I've got these toggles, and if you look at this, it actually looks like our standard measure filter. I can have a less than and a greater than bounds. What we've actually added some power user features. We didn't think everybody needed this, but they're there if you need them, that I can just grab this control and I can just throw it away. Huh. I just grabbed it on the screen. I'm going to show you that again, and I just pull off the track. And it's interactions like this. We want people to be playing with the data. We don't want you to be filling out a web form, and we want it to be live. So once I pull that away, I can tap on the control point. I can change it to being inclusive or exclusive. I can put the point back. I can actually get rid of the point on the other side. Or even if I have 2 points, if I just take 1 point and I move it to the other point, it becomes an equal filter, right? And I can move that equal filter around, or I can even tap on it, change it to a not equal filter. All part of just the way we want people to interact with the data. So let me take a step back right now. And what I want to remind people of is you can go into the App Store right now, you can search for Wave Analytics, you can download this app and you have it. And a lot of people say, oh, but I need an org, right? I need a Wave org in order to use this. Well, so what we've done is we've included this playground data. So this is play data. You can do anything with this data, but a lot of people, it's not enough to see play data, right? You want to see your data.
Absolutely.
So what we've integrated into the playground is this data importer. So let me show you how to get to that. I go into the side menu, I hit add your data, and then I can hit add data from a remote source. So here's a text field. Now I can enter a URL to any CSV file, an Excel file, even a TSV file, and import that data. Now we have this way, but I'm going to show you one other way. We're integrated with all of the iOS apps. So let me go back to home here, and I'm just going to swipe over and go to my Dropbox account. So we support many sources, whether it's your mail, Dropbox, Salesforce files, right? And here I have this spreadsheet I've been working on. What I've done is I'm a quantified self nut. And I think if you've made an activity and it hasn't been logged electronically in a system, it didn't count.
Yeah.
So what I've been doing recently is I've been wearing a Fitbit and an Apple Watch at the same time, and I've been logging my steps in both. And what I wanted to do is compare and contrast the differences between the two. So let's take this data set, and I'm going to say open in here, and then I just choose the Wave Analytics app. So it brings up my data importer, it looks at the data, it introspects it, it tries to figure out what is the metadata that it should use, and here it did a great job, so I'm just going to say import, I don't need to tweak anything or change anything. And now it's created an app. I've got this Apple versus Fitbit app, which is great. I can open up the metadata view that I explained before, and I want to call your attention to this little create button here. Because what use is data, right, if we can't create beautiful visualizations to tell stories with this data? So I'm going to create a dashboard. This is my dashboard designer. It's an empty canvas which I can start adding things to. So I just hit this plus button. Let's add a number widget. I'm going to do average of Apple Watch steps. And of course what we want to do is compare that to the average of Fitbit steps. Well, that looks great. Let's add a chart. I'm going to go with a line chart. And let's again do the average of Apple Watch steps. And the granularity here is going to be by week.
Excellent.
So now we've got this chart, but actually I wanted to make this a multi-metric chart, right? So I'm just going to go into the measures. I'm going to add one more. I'm adding an average of Fitbit steps. So now I've got my Apple Watch steps plotted and my Fitbit steps plotted. So I'm going to go ahead and say add. I add that to my dashboard, and let's add one more control. I'm going to add a toggle here, and that toggle is going to be the day of week, because my steps change greatly based on what day of week, where I am, what I'm doing. So let's save this. I'm going to go ahead and tap this, and we're going to call it Apple versus Fitbit there. And then I'm going to hit, I'm going to hit save. So now I've got this dashboard, and I can already start to see trends with this data, right? I can see that the Apple Watch steps have been tracking about 5,000 over the Fitbit steps. So there's some discrepancy there. And then we can look at this on week 32, they start to converge, and they seem to be even close. Not exactly, but close. So, we could know that we've got some either, maybe it was a software update or a syncing issue, something that happened that got solved on that date.
Yeah.
So I'm already using my own data to solve and diagnose issues with my own personal devices.
I have to imagine, though, that everything we've seen so far has been on the iPad. Is there any functionality for Android devices or other tablets right now?
So right now we are iOS only. We've been going full steam in the iOS family, but our development team has been working on everything in a cross-platform way because we knew Android is coming and we want to be able to move really quickly. So we are working on Android, and we expect it to be available sometime around mid-next year.
Okay, but Safe Harbor is something that we are actively working on, and people should plan on seeing it sometime in the future.
Yes.
Excellent. One last thing, and this is just my imagination firing off. I saw noticing the play between the Fitbit and the Apple Watch. Is there any visualization that we can actually get on the Apple Watch from Wave at this time, or is that again something that's a future consideration?
That's a great question. I mean, actually, the dashboard that I just made right there is now available on the watch. I don't actually have to do anything. I can just swipe up and I can open that dashboard. And the last dashboard you view is actually on the glance.
Yeah.
So it's just a simple swipe up, and I can see that chart right here on my watch.
Well, that about does it for everything that we had to present to you today in regards to the Wave Analytics team for Release Readiness Winter 2016. Thank you so much for joining us. We wish you the best and success. Go ride the wave, everybody.